Welcome back to my Essential Grammar course for Learning Latin. My name's Nicholas Oulton and I'm here to guide you through the grammar you need to cope with our wonderful ancient language, Latin, which we are going to be learning. Today we're going to be talking about nouns and pronouns. A noun, you may remember, we were taught when we were young at school, is a naming word and refers to a person, a place, a thing, or a quality. A person, like Michael, a place, like London, a thing, like chocolate, and a quality, like fear. All of those words are nouns. A noun can be a proper noun or a common noun. A proper noun is a noun that has a name, like Michael or Bijan. A common noun is any other type of thing. Common nouns can be concrete, which is where you can touch them, abstract, where you can't touch them, and collective, where they group other nouns together. So a couple of examples of that. A concrete noun might be dog, because you can touch a dog. A bicycle, because you can touch a bicycle. Those are all concrete nouns, but they needn't be made of concrete. A person is a concrete noun. You can touch a person. Abstract nouns are things which you can think about, you can visualize sort of in your mind, but you could never touch. So fear and panic and courage and happiness, all of those are abstract nouns. And finally, collective nouns. Well, a collective noun is where you have a name for a group of other nouns. So, for example, a flock of sheep. The word flock in that context is a collective noun, and it refers to a group of sheep, lots and lots of sheep in a field. That would be a flock of sheep. Just a word of warning, collective nouns, although by definition they refer to more than one of that noun, so a flock of birds, for example, lots and lots and lots of birds, the collective noun flock is actually singular. There's only one flock, even though there are lots of birds. And just to prove I haven't gone completely mad, you could have two flocks of birds. One flock went left, the other flock went right. So that's the three types of common noun: concrete, abstract, and collective. Now we need to talk about the concept of singular and plural. Nouns can be singular if there is just one of that noun, or plural if there is more than one of that noun. So for example, we can have one rabbit or two rabbits. We can have one book or two books. Normally in English, to make a noun plural, we simply add an S. So we have one car, two cars, one book, two books. However, there are some nouns in English which form their plural in a slightly peculiar way. These typically one just learns as you meet the word. You can try and form little groupings which behave in a similar way. But for example, we say one man, but two men, one woman, but two women, one goose, but two geese. When we looked at verbs in an earlier video, we talked about the concept of the subject of the verb being the person or the thing who was doing the verb. When we're talking about nouns, it's important to remember that this rule applies. The subject of the sentence, when it is a noun, must agree with the verb in person and in number. Okay, so what that means is, whereas we say Amanda is walking, Amanda being a singular noun, goes with a singular, a third person singular verb, is walking. Whereas if we have two nouns joined together, Amanda and Paul, then it becomes Amanda and Paul are working. If the noun is singular, the verb will be singular. If the noun is plural, the verb will be plural. And if you have one or more singular nouns joined together with a word like and, then what's happened there is the subject of the sentence has become plural because there are two nouns joined together, and the verb must therefore be plural. So we say Amanda and Paul are walking. We don't say Amanda and Paul is walking. And just a little word of warning on this area. We've looked at collective nouns, but remember, a collective noun is singular. The most obvious example, I remember teaching this in Latin lessons, is a crowd of people was walking down the street. You will almost always these days hear people say a crowd of people were walking down the street. Grammatically, that's not right, because a crowd is a singular collective noun. So a crowd of people was walking down the street. Funnily enough, it actually sounds wrong, but it is correct. And sometimes that is the case with English grammar. If you learn your English grammar properly, just occasionally you end up sounding as if you're getting things wrong. But if you've understood the grammar, you can always feel a little bit smug and say, no, I know what I'm doing here. It's a singular collective noun. Thank you very much. Now we're going to move on to pronouns. Now, there are lots and lots of different types of pronoun, but we're going to talk, first of all, about the one that's probably most familiar to you, and that is personal pronouns. The personal pronouns are I, you, he, she or it, we, you, and they. All of those are personal pronouns. They can be found in the singular, first person singular, that's I, second person singular, that's you, third person singular, that's he or she or it. And in the plural, first person plural is we, second person plural is you, and third person plural is they. Okay, we're now going to learn about cases. Personal pronouns, just like all nouns, have cases. In English, we don't really have to worry too much about cases because the form of a noun, when it changes from one case to another, doesn't alter. So you might say, well, why are you bothering me now about cases? Well, the reason I'm bothering you now about cases is that pronouns do change when they go from one case to another. There are 6 cases that I want you to know about, and I'll show you how they work in English. So the 6 cases are nominative, vocative, accusative, genitive, dative, and ablative. The nominative case is used to refer to the subject of the verb. That is the person or the thing doing the verb. The noun or pronoun that is doing the verb will be in the nominative case. The vocative case is used when you are addressing someone or even something. So, for example, if I want to speak to my friend Bijan, I would say, Bijan, can you please come over here? Now, when I say his name, Bijan, like that, I'm actually putting him into the vocative case. The accusative case, a very, very important case in all languages actually, is the one that we use when the person or the thing that we are referring to is the object of the verb. So when I say something like, I drink water, I am the subject, I am in the nominative case, drink is the verb, and water would be the object, and it goes in the accusative case. The other 3 cases, genitive is for of, so when I say something like, the name of that book is Great Expectations, when I say of that book, I'm using the genitive case. In Latin, it becomes very much more important, but in English, it doesn't really matter. Similarly, the dative case, that's when I give a book to my friend. When I say to my friend, I'm using the dative case. Or this is a present for my mother. Again, we're using the dative case. To or for are the dative case. And then there's this lovely thing called the ablative case, which is a case that kind of wraps up with and by and from. So I'm going to school with my bicycle. I am coming from London. I was hit on the head by my enemy. Those cases are ablative. In English, that distinction is really, really not very important, other than the difference between the first of those cases, the nominative case, used for the subject, and all of the other cases, the accusative, genitive, dative, ablative, all of those so-called oblique cases. So there is a distinction between the nominative case on the one hand and the oblique cases on the other. As I've said, nouns in English don't have any difference whether they are in a nominative case or one of the oblique cases. But pronouns do. There is a difference between the nominative case of a personal pronoun and the oblique cases of that personal pronoun. I is the first person singular personal pronoun. That is it in its nominative form. I am talking. But that same pronoun has an accusative form, which is me. So you see me. The word me is the accusative case of the personal pronoun I. In the second person, there is no difference in English between the nominative form you and the accusative form you. So that's a nice easy one. You see me, I see you. Whether you are the subject or the object, the word itself is just you. Nice and easy. However, in the third person, it becomes a little bit harder again, because the third person masculine singular nominative form is he. In the accusative, that word becomes him. I see him. I am the subject, see is the verb, and the object is him, a masculine person over there. A feminine example, I see her. So the word her is the accusative case of the personal pronoun she in the singular. In the plural, similar things happen. We know to be the first person plural pronoun. But that's its nominative version. In the accusative, we becomes us. So, we are talking about Latin, they are listening to us, or they are hearing us. Second person plural, again, our word you never changes, so that's straightforward. You hear them, they hear you. The word you doesn't change. But in the third person plural, we again get a difference between the word they, which is the nominative form, and them, which is the accusative form. It's understanding that distinction between the nominative forms of nouns and pronouns and the accusative forms of nouns and pronouns that helps us to understand why some phrases are grammatically correct and some are grammatically incorrect. So I'm going to give you some examples. You and I are talking is correct. You and me are talking is incorrect. We and they are arguing is correct. Us and them are arguing would be incorrect. He and you are eating is correct. Him and you are eating would be incorrect. You and she are happy is correct. You and her are happy would be incorrect. So it's all a matter of working out, is the subject of the verb a nominative form or not. If the noun or the pronoun is the subject of the verb, it must be in the nominative form. People very often struggle with this. They say, me and him were playing in the street. Me and him were playing. Well, that both of those words, me and him, are wrong there. Because the people doing the playing in that example were I and he. He and I were playing in the street, not him and me. Him is an accusative form, me is an accusative form. You cannot have accusative pronouns acting as the subject of a verb. Okay, and finally for this lesson on nouns and pronouns, I'm just going to remind you why pronouns, personal pronouns in this case, are so useful. And again, I'm going to read you a little story and you'll see how deeply irritating it would be if we didn't have pronouns. Sally went shopping with her friend Bijan. Sally asked Bijan whether Bijan had any money, and Bijan told Sally that Bijan did. Bijan and Sally went into a shop and Bijan asked Sally to pass Bijan a shopping basket. Sally passed a basket to Bijan and Bijan thanked Sally for passing the basket. The basket became heavy because Bijan was putting lots of items into the basket. If we're allowed to use pronouns, that becomes just a little bit more manageable. Sally went shopping with her friend Bijan. Sally asked Bijan whether he had any money, and Bijan told her that he did. They went into a shop, and Bijan asked Sally to pass him a shopping basket. She passed the basket to him, and he thanked her for passing it. The basket became heavy because he was putting lots of items into it. Really, really helps if we can use pronouns. Otherwise, we go stir crazy. Okay, that's enough for now. Next time we're going to meet a whole load more pronouns. As I said at the beginning of this video, there are a lot of different types of pronoun. Having got the idea that pronouns and nouns have cases and numbers is really going to help when we look at some of the other types of pronoun. Okay, so don't forget we've got a whole playlist on these grammar videos that I'm doing to help us learn our Latin. We've got the Latin course itself, plenty of videos there coming out every Friday. So if you like what we're doing here, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell below for notifications, new lessons every Friday. Hope to see you next time.